Welcome guys, welcome back to the channel. For today's daily news video, we're gonna talk about especially strikers, mainly, also about Dybala, Bernesi, Quadrado, but I think in overall, just in general, the situation we are in, I mean money-wise, the way we can spend and the way we shouldn't spend. So as always, like the video and subscribe, and then we will get into the news. Now, like I said, I would say the main part of this video is especially mismanagement, possible mismanagement of our limited funds we have. And what I mean about that, like a lot of people are saying, don't waste the little money we already have. And it basically comes down to, do players like Icardi, etc., improve us that much that we need to spend that type of money, or is it better to even invest in someone younger who you can build on and make some money off in the future if he decides to leave? So the first bit of news is about Vlahovic. It isn't positive. It's from Di Marzio. He's saying Fiorentina is talking mainly with Arsenal, but Vlahovic is not interested in this solution. In addition to the higher transfer fee, there will be also the commission required for the agent, so an agent fee. No Italian club, not even Juve, can afford these figures. Now, he's basically saying it's done. He's not coming. That's what he's saying. Like, if we cannot afford the commissions in January, we cannot afford those commissions in the summer, which is very worrying because, like, he is the player we need up front. It isn't Morata. It isn't any of the other names, and we will get to the other names. But this is very worrying. Like, everybody, I think, hoped we will get Vlahovic, and I think everybody had the feeling that he was the guy who will sign at the end of the day. Also because there were so many hints about him wanting to stay in Italy, and that he wants to join us. Now, if we cannot pay him, we cannot pay him because his numbers are insane. They're off the chart. So it's only normal other clubs are interested in him. He doesn't want Arsenal. But if City comes knocking on the door, like I said before, he's accepting that. Like, if we cannot afford he's accepting City. Why wouldn't he? I think Harry Kane is going to stay with Tottenham. So I think City are going for Vlahovic, and that's bad news for us because, like, he is the next man up. He is the player, I would say, one of the strikers for the future, who's gonna be here for a long time in Europe, just in general, competing with. I'm not saying he's Haaland and all those players, but he's gonna at least compete with it somehow. I think, of course, those players are better, but just in general, I think he's a player we need, and it's kind of obvious now that we're not gonna get him, just because we don't have the money. It's that simple at the moment, and it's sad. Like, it means that we are going to get, I would say, Morata level of players moving forward. I don't think that was a problem if you have a strong midfield and a very good squad, like we did it with Vucinic, Matri, Llorente. Okay, we had Tevez, but, like, we still have Chiesa and Dybala. But you know what I mean? Like, those type of players, and they all got us numbers, good, decent, respectable numbers at times. But we as a team are not playing great, and not having a top striker up front will only make us look worse, in my opinion. Like, we can see with Morata, like, it's hit and miss. Keane, Caio, like, that ain't it. If you want to go back to the top, that's not what we need. We need him, basically, and according to Di Marzio, we're not getting him. And then he went on, no, I will go to the Repubblica report, and they are saying Man City would now have the best chance of getting Vlahovic. Juve, therefore, would not be in the front row for what would remain the main objective, to strengthen the attack. Like I said, it seems that City is in the driving seat now. If they want to do this deal, they will do this deal. That's the situation. They have the money. They can spend the money. They need a number 9 for about 3 years now, I would say. Maybe 2. They're going to get a number 9. They tried for Harry Kane. Tottenham said no. Because they offer like 100 mil. They will easily offer like 70 mil for Vlahovic and pay his agent whatever he wants. So, yeah, that's the situation now. And then we will move on to the most worrying part of the video, and that's the alternatives. The names that are being mentioned are sad. I don't know what else. I don't know how to describe it other than it's sad. Like, the first report is from Calciomercato, who are kind of decent, but these rumors are not just from Calciomercato. They come from Gazzetta dello Sport, basically all the main reports out there. And they're saying a meeting between the club and Allegri is expected to take place after the match against Cagliari in order to define the budget for January and evaluate the names for the role of center forward, so striker. The idea is to find an agreement for the loan of Icardi for 6 or 18 months, but the idea of Cavani or Aubameyang is there. Now, Aubameyang shouldn't be even mentioned in the boardroom in any conversations. Like, his wages are insane. He's old. He ain't dead. Period. Like, it's kind of embarrassing that we are even getting linked with him at the moment. It's sad. Cavani, same thing. Old, done, move on. Like, it doesn't make sense. Icardi for 6 months until the season, and that's it. Maybe. Other than that, no. Like, just don't do it. Like, it doesn't make sense. They're in the 30s. Icardi is 29 on big money. Like, it doesn't make sense to do that because they're not in their prime anymore. That maybe they should be in the prime, like Icardi and Aubameyang, but recent performances show they're not in their prime, and maybe they're not even hitting their prime. Maybe they already had their prime and they just stopped now. And for me, they stopped. Like, Icardi's last 2 seasons weren't great. Aubameyang's last year and a half are very sad. Like, they're just so bad. On and off the field, it's just bad. Cavani, he wanted to leave Man U. He wanted to go to Boca Juniors, I think it was. Man U almost cried to keep him in the summer, and somehow they convinced him. But like, the reports are he misses his family and all those stuff. Like, just stay away from those situations. It does make sense moving forward for the club, investing any euros, like even €1 in these type of players. It does make sense. Like, show some, you know what? At least go for a younger striker. Then, if you don't get Vlahovic, someone you can build on, because these guys, it's just a short-term fix if they perform, which they are not at the moment, and it will cost you a lot of money in transfer fee, but especially in wages. And I don't think any of those players are worth the wages they're on now, because Aubameyang is almost on. He's more than 10. Cavani is on 7 or 8. Icardi the same. Just insane. They're not worth that money. They aren't. So for me, that's what I've always said. Don't waste money in January. If there's nothing out there, then do nothing. That's as simple as that. Just don't waste money in January. Then we move on to basically a report from Gazzetta dello Sport saying their swap deal between Icardi and Betancourt is still possible. I think that's bullshit. I'm sorry. I don't know how that will be done value-wise. I just don't see it happening. And I don't want to see it happening. I don't want Icardi at the club on a long-term deal. I don't want that. Because I don't think that's fixing things for the future, moving forward. Building a team, having a clear identity, building a squad, building a project, not building a project, working by a project. I don't think that's the way to go with Icardi. So I don't hope that's bullshit, because I think we need just money for Arthur, so we can invest in players we want, we really can use to build on for the future, not just take. And maybe that's the situation we're in, where we need to take loan deals and all those players, but like, it's still kind of sad in my opinion. It is. And then we move on to Di Marzio. He went from talking about Vlahovic, he went to Scamacca, and he said, excuse me, Scamacca is on Juve's list and Inter's list. If Juve manage to sell in January, maybe Kulusevski, that will allow them to reinvest. It's not said that Sassuolo will sell, but Juve as Inter will try now and in the summer. Now, I know a lot of people rate Scamacca, and they do, because they see potential. Maybe there's some glimpse of potential this season, but I'm still not convinced. I don't think he's coming in and he's changing life for us from the get-go. And what I mean with that is scoring 20 goals and being a key player in Europe. I don't think he's anything near ready to do that. He isn't, because like if you look at his output over the years, like he's not that type of player. He never really showed that. He's doing okay now, maybe good, but I'm still not convinced about that. And the money Sassuolo are asking for, 35, 40 million euros, is insane. Like, it's just insane. If you look at his output, that's not 40 million euros. I'm sorry, it isn't. Like for 30 million euros more, you have Vlahovic. I know 30 million euros is a lot of money, but just saying, like, for less than double of the money, you have Vlahovic. I don't think he's that. If it will be 20 million euros, 25, maybe I will take that. But still, going into the season with Scamacca as your first choice forward, I don't think that's gonna work. To basically go places, to go where we should be going, and that's winning league titles again, be kind of a competitor in Europe. And also, if you're getting Scamacca, I think we're keeping Morata. I think that's the plan, to keep Scamacca and Morata. And I think that's also wrong, because you're gonna give Morata a 3-4 year deal on 6 million euros he's on now. Maybe he will drop to 5 million euros, and we have seen that he's not a main man, Morata. If you want to win titles, he cannot be the main man, because not just as a club perspective, but just from his own perspective, he has shown he's not that guy. So these reports are very worrying. Like, it's not, I don't say hope given, it's not exciting. It's not setting you at the edge of your seat. It's not screaming, we're coming back, we're going to compete immediately. Maybe we're not going to compete immediately, but I don't think a lot will change if we bring in these players, in up front. That's just my opinion. Let me know in the comments if you think any of those names are a good option. I don't think so. Like, I really don't think so. But yeah, then we move on to some contract renewals, and that's Bernardeschi. And the report is from Corriere dello Sport saying Bernardeschi's recent performances have convinced Juve to pick up talks, over the new deal. I don't know what to say about it. You know what? Yeah, I think she should leave. He have 4.5 years now at this point. Yeah, he has 5 assists this season, but I'm not forgetting the previous 4 years. It's not good. Like, I think it's a waste of a wage, a waste of a spot. I don't know, we cannot replace everyone, but I still think it's throwing away money and wages, because I don't think he's good. And he got his assist against Bologna, and I credit him for him because of great assist. But the rest of the game, he was awful. Like, and not just him. I'm not saying him, but I'm saying him because his name is in the news, because we're trying to give him a new deal. You cannot give an assist and then disappear for 90 minutes and basically go, yeah, I deserve that every time. That's not going to work for me. If it's a squad player, I don't see it. I think it's a waste of money in general. But yeah, he is going to get a new deal, most likely. In January, he can talk with any team. He can sign with any team. Let's see how the story will develop. But according to basically kind of everyone, the intention is to stay at the club for both parties. Let's see. He's on almost 5 million euros now. Like, even 3.5 is insane. Like, it's just too much for me. For his output, for what he gives this team, it's way too much. I said it before, Locatelli is not even on 3, but I'm not going to say anything about it in this video. Then we move on to Quadrado. The report is saying Cuadrado will most likely start the new year without having signed a contract renewal. Juan, however, will renew. He would like a 2-year contract, while the club, on the contrary, prefers a 1-season extension, maybe with an option for the following one. I hope this is true, and I hope the club is basically saying we're giving you 1 with an option we can activate if we want to. Because I think 2 is too much. He's getting older. I like Cuadrado, but like once a player hits 30 years old, 31, the only deals he should be getting is 1 year plus maybe an option. Not 3 years, not 4 years, or something like that, because that doesn't make sense. Like, it really doesn't make sense. Like, that makes sense if you're 30 years old and your name is Chiellini, or your name is Ronaldo, or your name is, if you were still at the club, Pogba. Like, these type of players. Yeah, you know what I mean? But other than that, it should be 1 year with an option for any player other than special talents to get a deal once you hit 30 years old, 30 years of age. And he's 33, I think. So, I mean, 1 year is already good enough. Plus an option, maybe the club can think about it if you want to activate an option, but don't go through 3 years. Just 1 plus an option is more than enough. That should be the new policy at the club. That's how you basically stay ahead of the situation you're kind of creating now with players on big money, on long-term deals who are not good enough, and you cannot sell. That's the current situation we are in now, and you should avoid that with the quote-unquote older players. You really should. So that's my opinion, but he will extend his deal anyway. I think it's done. I think he will get his 2 years in the end, because it's us. It's just how we work. At the end of the day, I hope they will change it, but I'm really doubtful they will. And then we move on to Dybala. So I will read the report first. So the report was Dybala's agent has returned to Argentina, but the negotiation would not be at risk. In fact, the player and the club have decided together to postpone the signing to the beginning of 2022, excuse me. Postponing it further due to bureaucratic problems. Juve is thinking about the figures, however. The renewal of Dybala would consist of a deal of 10 million euros until 26, which would weigh heavily on the budget, especially in case of missing out of top 4. And then Mirko Di Natale said, the feeling as of today remains positive for the new contract of Dybala. The objective was to conclude the negotiations this week, so before Christmas, but the parties have agreed to meet again early in January. And Romeo said, basically, stop this bullshit, 100%, it's done. Delay is just strictly because some bureaucratic issues with the agent, not with Dybala, not with Juventus. It has agreed. However, the whole situation is kind of a joke. It is kind of a joke. Like, he's your quote-unquote star player, and we are hearing these stories. I remember Romano tweeting out in July, it's done, he's signing his deal. It's 2022 now, and he still hasn't signed his deal, and he can sign on a free for everyone. And I've said it before, knock on wood, let's say he picks up a massive injury now. What's going to happen? Like, all these things, it doesn't make sense that it is taking this long to sign a piece of paper. I don't care if there are bureaucratic issues with his agent. I don't care. Like, this is happening since, I don't know, 6 months now, 5 months now. He still hasn't signed the deal. The story is getting old. It's getting boring. It stinks, in my opinion. If he signs his deal at the end of the day, yeah, I mean, but he's your star player, quote unquote. He's the one who should be the player of the quote unquote future you're going to build around, and he's still a free agent. You can sign as a free agent, a pre-contract in a few days. That's the situation, and that doesn't look great. That's how I think about it. I don't know what to say about it. Romeo said it's done, basically saying it's kind of not bullshit. Please stop the, how do you want to say, the rumors, or stop doubting it. He will sign this deal. I will take Romeo's word on it because he knows what he's talking about. I'm not. I'm just talking about the situation in general, and it's amateuristic in my opinion. That's how I'll think about it. But yeah, let me know in the comments what you think about Dybala, the situation, Bernardeschi getting a new deal, all the striker names that have been listed, especially with Di Maggio saying basically getting Vlahovic is impossible for us. And all the other names were linked to. Are they basically the answer to replace Morata or even play alongside Morata next year? So yeah, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and we will see you in the next one.